Hi, I'm Dr. Joe, and as someone who studies and teaches biomechanics, I want to break down a new trend that I'm starting to see in a lot of the younger golfers that I'm worried about. Specifically when it comes to their swing, the positions, and the risk for their long-term health of their back. I want to get into that today. We're going to talk about why that is and what you can do about it. You're going to see two distinct characteristics in all of these players that I'm worried about future back problems for. The first thing you're going to see is a lot of side bend, which means their right shoulder is going to be down toward their right hip. The other thing you're going to see is really open or separated hips from the upper body, which means the hips have rotated through to the target and the shoulders have stayed back the other way. The problem with both of these positions being combined together is they're both going to tend to increase compression on what's called the facet joints of the spine as well as the disc themselves. So when you have either an extremely large amount of both or an extremely large amount of one but still a significant amount of the other, it's hard to dissipate all that stress. So again, you see the angles, and then what I want you to do is compare them to Rory's position. What you'll notice is he's a little bit more upright. So instead of getting his hips extremely far open with a lot of torque rotating toward the target, he's turned some of that force into ground reaction vertical force, which is why it's almost as if he's standing through impact. You'll see similar things from Justin Thomas and a bunch of players on the tour. The advantage of that vertical drive and the force production in that direction is it lifts you off of the ground, which means that force is going to dissipate into the environment. In these other situations, players are maintaining that side bend and open hip position, and the feet are firmly planted to the ground, which means there's nowhere to dissipate the force. I do want to take you back to Sam Bennett's swing in particular, because he gets this little bit of foot slide that I think might just be enough to take a little bit of stress off of his back. Now, the interesting thing is I've started to see this across more and more players. And these players tend to have similar builds. They tend to be slimmer players, but with a lot of distance. So I think what's happening is almost like a shortcut to speed. Speed's got to be built by muscle force, coordinated contractions, and you can leverage it through other positions like these guys are, but that means that that force is going to go somewhere. And in this case, I think it's going to go into the joints. So my suggestion for some of these players would be to, well, first of all, do kind of a self-analysis and see how their back feels after they hit a lot of golf balls and things like that. And then from there, does it make sense to make adjustments to setup before it causes a problem? Or with Zalatoris, as he's coming back from surgery, does it make sense to start trying to get more upright, trying to apply more force vertically, getting maybe a contact point with the ground to loosen after impact so that force can dissipate? Now, obviously their injuries are tough to predict, so there's no guarantee any of these guys end up injured. All I'm saying from my standpoint is that the biomechanics are in injury-producing positions. So I'll be really interested to watch these players over the next few years and kind of see where they go and how they progress. And I hope I'm wrong and they all stay injury-free, but it'll definitely be something to follow. For yourselves, look at if you get in some of these positions, because it might be a risk factor for you, especially if you already have back pain. It might lend some credence to trying to make some small adjustments. If you have any questions or if you just want to disagree with me, drop them in the comments below. I love a spirited debate. I've got a lot of training in biomechanics. I teach at the university level now. I've worked in a biomechanics lab, and there's certainly conflicting opinions on a lot of things, and stuff I love and always enjoy debating with people. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe for more stuff like this, or leave a comment if you want to see a particular swing analyzed, or if you want to send your own. Thanks.